Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Up now, we have Kids and the Creator Economy, and I'm happy to hand it over to Robin Raskin.
Well, thanks. Hey, everybody. Last day at the show, right? I feel like the bookend. I started the panels on the first day, and we're going to go out with a creative bang on the last day. First, we're going to ask you a question. Have any of you in this audience worked with the creator or influencer community to promote your brands? Show of hands. Okay. And then, little soul searching here. If you have not worked with them, what's the obstacle? Is it a cost thing? Is it your own lack of skills in this area? Are there ethical reasons you wouldn't work with the creator? Is the landscape changing so quickly you can't figure out if it's YouTube or TikTok or whatever the flavor is of the day? Or are there other marketing strategies that you think are more effective? And just to give you an idea of what's happening, so I run something called the Virtual Events Group. We talk about how to make better meetings everywhere, and we invite creators to be on the show a lot. The creator industry, when I looked at it a year ago, we called it 50 million plus creators. They're now like 207 million self-identified creators. Not all of them say it's their full-time job, but a good number earn their revenue from working with brands. And when I don't know about when you went to school, but like being a creator was not anything my guidance counselor talked to me about. So it wasn't on the. It is now. It is now. I have an 11-year-old grandson who's actually in the social media club. They put their Instagrams up. They're the school influencers, and it becomes a position of renown. So I think you're going to see the creator industry, as the tools are democratized for video editing and for taping, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So everybody knows Ryan, like the world's famous, who took, an 11-year-old who learned how to work his brand, who even started out by unboxing toys and then grew into his own line of toys. And we'll talk about these stage biz kids because they're kids, and then they're older creators that are actually, it's not just about their talented creators, they're algorithmically really smart. So I'm going to give you 3 different looks at the creator economy. I'm going to start with Melissa Hunter. Melissa works with creators and brands, putting them together. Leah Ringelstein is from Zigazoo. Zigazoo is a kids' social network of kids, social media, that's very, very carefully monitored. And she'll talk about how brands come to her to work with the kids. And then, as she's known, Sydney Wiseman, Sid the Kid from WowWee, will talk about how social media has propelled fingerlings in particular, but a new Toady winner, to fame. So you'll get like 3 different looks, and then we can take it over to the side, and if you want to have more conversations on your specific brands and how you can incorporate the creator mentality, I think it's a conversation worthwhile. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Melissa Hunter.
To me.
From Family Video Network.
Click. There it goes. I did it. I did the click. So thank you so much. And thank you for having me on the panel. I've been in the world of YouTube and toys for 10 years now, and I started, for those of you who don't know, the journey started because my son wanted to start a YouTube channel because we used to watch YouTube together, and we used to watch people unboxing their dolls and doing different things, and he wanted to do that, and he was 8, and I didn't feel like I wanted him to do that alone, and so we did it together. And then after about 5 years, he was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I said, well, I still want to keep going. So I've continued on without him. But so I've learned a lot. I formed Family Video Network, bringing together family and kids creators. And the goal is really for us is to keep the kids on both sides of the screen safe. So that means ethics are really, really important to our company. And also, we've seen this whole change in the way, in particular in the toy industry, and working with creators and influencers a lot has changed. The FTC is very involved, KRU is very involved, and I think that's all really important. So one of my first tips, so I was supposed to have 5, but I have 6 tips. 6 tips for you. The first one is to think beyond toy and kid influencers. One of the most impactful in my head examples of this is Moose with Magic Mixies. When that first came out, I saw it, on my toy friends, and I saw the kid influencers getting it. And then I started seeing it showing up like on cooking influencers, and then people who had a little bit, maybe there's sort of like a witchy influencer group, because it was kind of a cauldron. And I thought it was genius because no matter what I was looking at, I was seeing the Magic Mixies. And the other way to think about that is not everybody is looking at kid and toy influencers. Most of the people who buy toys aren't. So find the people that there seems to be some sort of a link with your toy. What is an unusual connection? The next
Another example. Another example.
See, we planned on one example,
Yeah.
but
No, it's a great example.
Well, you know what? I'll use an example from a conversation I had today. So we were at a booth, and they have a lot of sort of bags and jewelry making stuff, and we were talking about that. They need to start thinking about get them to the fashion influencers. Yes, it's a toy, but it's a really cool toy, and it would be something that somebody who's into fashion, you get some of those younger fashionistas, and that's like all over TikTok, have them making that little purse and then using it, think outside of the box for unboxing. The next one is with the mailers, with the PR mailers, and I'm going to call out somebody who did an amazing job of this recently, was Just Play has their new doll line, Style Bay. And they sent a mailer that, it was a video in a box. It really was. Like when you unboxed it, you didn't just have the product. There was like a spin the wheel to pick the outfits. There was a backdrop with like a rug to photograph the doll, and they had different backdrops for each of the dolls. There was storage for all the stuff they sent you. I didn't have to think about how am I going to make this toy look good in a video. They gave me the video in the box. And by doing that, it was really genius. They were able to repetitively communicate all of the brand points without just sending us a sheet of paper for us to sort of follow or not follow. It was all right there in the box for us. So really think about your mailers, think about who you're sending them to, and make it really easy for them to communicate what you want to communicate with your mailer. So we know that things have changed a lot on YouTube with kids' content and toys, and so that's being handled a little bit differently. But right now, TikTok, and don't sleep on Instagram for toys. I know TikTok is the hot thing that everybody thinks about. Instagram for toys and toy collectors and reaching parents, Instagram is super, super hot. So look for influencers who have followings there. Again, think outside of what your like WowWee, right? You're going to send that to people who are kids and toys. But are there pet influencers who might be interested in WowWee? Think about those things. Also, because of the regulations and all of those things, I highly recommend leaning into working with an agency of some kind, because the agencies are not only going to connect you to the right people, but they are now taking on the role of educating the influencers to make sure that all of the influencers that are on their rosters know what they shouldn't do, can and cannot say. Let the creators do their thing is the thing I always talk about. In the end, the creators know their audience and their algorithm better than you or better than anyone else. So if they have a really unique out there idea for your toy, go with it, as long as it's, not going to be offensive to anyone. Go with it because that's going to work for their audience. And if it works for their audience, it works for the algorithm, and then you get seen by more people. And then I've said regulations a lot. Sorry, it's a thing, but you guys are in the toy world. You know all about regulations, right? So be aware when you're particularly working with kid influencers, be aware when you're sending talking points that you can't tell them to tell people it's at Walmart or whatever store. Kids cannot tell kids to go buy something at a store. So don't ask them to, because some of them don't, and some of their parents aren't even aware. So just make sure you really know what the rules of the road are for working with kid influencers. And those are my 6 tips.
Well done. With sparkling colors, and really that last tip, the regulations, goes back to the talent agencies. This industry is maturing really quickly, and there is people who are incredibly knowledgeable on what the rule and the flavor of the day is. And there are people, if you watch the worlds of TikTok and Instagram, they are getting called out for doing the wrong thing very publicly. So, and you don't want to be one of those people for not disclosing, for not being transparent. So as you think about these things, better say it and be done with it. And I think Leah will reinforce this as she talks about Zigazoo.
Yeah, so I'm so proud and happy to be up here because I know your work throughout time has really empowered kids and families. And so Zigazoo came from 2 parents, my husband and I, who are also teachers, who thought, like, kids want to be part of this world. They have the best ideas ever, right? Kids are so creative, empowered, and they want to play. They want to play this game of, let me talk about my favorite toy, let me show my favorite dance move. They want to be in this world, but I want you to take a moment to reflect if you know a kid or have a kid. I have 3 of them, and Zigazoo came from a place of thinking, like, do I want to put them in the world of social media that already exists? Maybe not. Maybe with really great guides, right, and really informed support systems, but what about a place where they can learn how to be really empowered and creative and magnificent and share their passion for toys and music and culture, but in an environment that was made for them? So we made Zigazoo, it's an airtight, safe environment where all content is moderated and where we've created a culture and also curated, a whole style of features and interactions that's positive. We have checked the boxes on, the stuff that's really important, like protecting their identity and making sure that they're not exposed to things that are inappropriate. But we've also thought that in order to be creative, you need to feel safe. So you need to be encouraged. So we've curated a community where kids are getting only high fives, and they're in the spotlight, and they're feeling proud, and they're building self-confidence. And we know that a struggle with a lot of our existing social media platforms that are designed for adults, we don't necessarily walk away feeling confident. And so we created this space. So we have 5 million users and counting. We're now, actually, our numbers have improved since this slide was made. We're number 3. We're leaning more towards 10 million, but every kid on Zigazoo is a creator. But we also know that we've used a project-based learning strategy wherein the encounters are based on an inspiration, a question, and a response. So every kid can make a response to a challenge. How high can you jump? Show me your dog. What's your favorite book? But the people creating those challenges, we have so many partners. We have the NBA, we have toy companies, we have celebrities, people who are really engaging and inspiring these kids. Also, kids want to make those challenges, and that's where our kid creator community comes in. So I was going to show you a video because I feel like pictures speak louder than words, so you can really get the gist of what this platform is and what it feels like. And then I'll talk a little bit more about our creator community and how they interact within this safe and family-trusted and really powerful community. So I think if I click again...
Zigazoo, the world's largest social media app for kids. Millions of kids are using Zigazoo to watch videos, create, connect, and earn rewards. Here's how Zigazoo works. Kids use their imagination to create videos and respond to challenges from some of the biggest brands and personalities in the world. When Zigazooers complete challenges, they earn rewards. Kids create, everyone wins, and parents feel better. Wait until you see what kids can do on Zigazoo.
So we have this great creator club of kids. Some of them are, gymnasts with gold medals, and some of them are kid actors, and some of them are just kids with great ideas who made enough content to get a following of other kids who really are inspired by them. So when these creators are partnered with some of these amazing companies that you see below and more, they're making content that they're genuinely passionate about. And to kind of follow on with what you were saying, we really work to curate a relationship that makes kids feel empowered, right? And you want to feel good about that. It works because their passion for talking about products and experiences that they love is real and it's genuine. But it also works because we know we're all in toys and play because we want to build kids up. We want to do things that are great for them. We want them to feel empowered and grow. So we make sure all content is moderated. If it doesn't fit our guidelines, it doesn't go public. We make sure everything's challenge-based so nobody's just watching, everybody's up and dancing and responding. It's an invitation to play, an invitation to play with what you created and things that kids are genuinely passionate about. It's authentic, so the kids build the community. It's vibrant beyond the challenges and the products that the external world is bringing in. The kids run the world, and you get invited to come in and share your great ideas there. We have an ethical algorithm, so we're making sure that kids can really use their creative skills and to get engagement. And we have kid-led partnerships. So if your brand works with some of our kids, their bright ideas are the ones that are sparking intrigue from other children. And it's impactful both in the way that it makes the kids feel and also in the way that it helps your product and your brand to enter into their magical world of play.
So are parents invited?
Parents are invited. In order for the kids to come, the grown-ups have to be down with it. Our kids are all verified users and their families are on board.
And I saw you had 6 to 12 as your audience that you're squarely, and I think it's really important to know they are going to outgrow this at some point and say, I'm ready for my Facebook account or whatever.
Yeah. Yes, and we actually we opened to 13 plus because kids wanted this non-toxic feel even when they went beyond that space. But the goal is training wheels, right? It's about building digital citizenship and empowering them to do a better job than we've done, just being thrown out in the wild in the social media world.
Yeah, and I think mixing the physical, we're going to have a contest. She's going to give us a challenge after this over in the side. How high can we jump? We're doing it.
I know. I hope you have your comfy shoes on because I don't.
So another, you see a pattern here of empowering kids, engaging kids in the virtual world to enjoy the physical world. And now we're going to go to Sydney Wiseman, who has really taken WowWee, quite a well-known toy company, with some fabulous toys, and embraced the social world and the world of creators and influencers also.
Hi, guys. Oh, let me click. Okay, and I'm going to stop here just because I'm really bad with slides. Okay, so I make toys, obviously. And I think something that's really important about what both of you have said, and the word community, you kept throwing out the word community, and you were saying influencer, but it's really interesting because Melissa, actually for me, you were the first community that ever existed. You saw back in the day, especially, and we work with Melissa all the time, sure, you can hire a Kim Kardashian and she'll post and everyone will see it and maybe you will sell some. But there's something different about someone who really believes in what they're selling that is, you were the first doll community for me, therefore or actually toy community. And therefore anytime you were showing a toy, it hit differently to your audience because of the community that surrounded you. And so I think as we look at marketing at WowWee, you guys know us, we kind of are the company that thinks outside the box. And especially when it came to marketing, something that we felt really was important to how we make toys was, how do you create a community where people are actually telling us, and I get it, not every toy company has the luxury of being on this 18-month product cycle. However, because we do, we were like, let us figure out how to build an audience and how do we get people telling me what toys they want me to make so that they really like it when they come to be. And so we saw TikTok, and we're getting into Zigazoo, so we're going to start using that as well. But we really turned to social media, specifically TikTok, and started using it as a platform to guide the toys that we're making. The best example, so fingerlings, we had, everyone familiar with fingerlings, a big toy in 2017, and we decided to bring it back. And every time I realized I would post a video on TikTok about fingerlings, the old fingerlings, there was a huge response. I think I probably got 100,000 of my followers just because of fingerlings and the fact that I had made this toy. And so I was like, okay, if we're gonna go back and bring them back, what are we gonna do? What better than to ask the people who loved them back in the day? So it was, if I were to bring them back, what do you guys want us to do? We got all of this feedback. I think we actually got something about 3,000 comments of kids literally explaining how to fix fingerlings. So, for example, the #1 thing was fur before collectability, actually. So, figured out how to make them furry.
Collectability. Back in the day, every fingerling had one sound across all 6 colors. We made every single fingerling now with a different personality. Accessories. We have a playset that has little bottles and all of those things so you can nurture your fingerling. And then usability, something as simple as making the tail so now they can sit in your hands. And all of this feedback is literally coming in real time from our audience. So a different way of using social media, but really important to kind of how we started doing now and how we do everything at WowWee. If I don't know what color to pick for next season fingerlings, I'll go to TikTok and be like, hey guys, like, what colors do you want to see for new fingerlings? And taking that feedback and actually being able to implement it and having nurtured this community around adults and children who are very vocal in terms of what toys that they like and what they want to play with and what they do and don't like about your toys, I think is incredibly important. Not to be offended by some of the negative feedback and to take that feedback and actually grow from it so that you can really make things better. And yeah, I know I rushed through
You
that.
have another guy next to you.
Oh yeah, the dog too. Dog was the same thing actually. When we even decided to bring back robots, the first thing that we did was went to social media and we were like, if we're gonna bring back a robot dog, what do you want it to do? And when it comes to making toys, as most of you will know, there's what is the best toy that you can make for a price that is affordable to parents? Because obviously at WowWee, we can make pigs fly, but if someone just wants a really cute pig, you want to make sure that you make the pig really cute. So when it came to our robot dog, it was exactly that. What does a robot dog mean to you? And so the number one thing that we saw was motion. So when it came to us picking the features that were most important for what we were building, we made motion really the center focus of everything. And when it came to challenging pricing conversations, it was always about, is the motion there? Because that was the number one thing that the community told us would be important to the toy. And so we use all of that feedback to make it that much better.
So I know, I'm going to put her on the spot for a minute because I know you've been working a lot with AI also, and I see in Sydney's case, I see AI being closely related to, you're really the creator who's bringing together a community to iterate product. So are you using AI tools to iterate, try on fur, change colors, map movements?
In my day-to-day, yes, for sure. Honestly, I find AI personally, especially, I can't draw at all. I have all these ideas in my head and I have no idea how to express them. And thankfully, I have designers who are wonderful and are like, understand my brain better than anyone. But now it's really nice for me to be able to use an AI tool like a Midjourney to kind of high level summarize what I'm looking for, get to a place where I have a sketch where I actually very much, I feel comfortable with it being a starting point to communicate the idea that I'm looking for. I also think, I do use ChatGPT in my day-to-day. A really fun trick for anyone who uses it, if you start a new thread and every time you have an idea about the same topic, you keep just feeding it to ChatGPT, she'll actually learn about, she'll actually learn what you're trying to get to. So basically fingerlings, I will be like, I want fingerlings are this and this and this and this. And then the next day I'll have a thought and I'll be like, and I have a thought that they're this and this and this and this. And then I will always touch base with her and be like, can you summarize what fingerlings are? Just to make sure that she always knows where I'm at. But honestly, if you keep feeding her how you're thinking, she really does learn to know where you're at. And now, not using it as final packaging or copy, I still very much believe that there is a soul and a storytelling that is not anywhere there yet for AI. So do I still need everyone that has worked from a creative standpoint in everything that I'm doing in my day-to-day? 1,000%, and I don't think that it's there yet. However, as a starting point, I think there's very useful ways of using it to make everything a little bit faster.
So sort of to summarize, we're running out of time and we'll open it up to audience questions, but you're talking about community. All of you are talking about community and involving kids as creators, involving families as creators. I know Melissa has had her on the stage before working with parents and their kids who work in tandem and have paid their kids college educations.
Yes, and that's a beautiful thing, and also, yeah, just I like it when toy creators do engage with families that are on camera together, because that gives there's a couple of things. Gives kids an opportunity to see that adults can play with kids. There's a little bit of a wish fulfillment there for people who don't have their parents around a lot, but it also just shows parents how to play with their children, because some parents don't actually know what they're supposed to be doing. So I love to see that.
So, any questions from the audience while you have these three great experts up here? And we have a question right in the front row, and we'll come around with the microphone. Anne's gonna right.
How much do influence? I can't even say it now that I have the microphone. How much do they usually charge you for advertising with them?
Influencers can go anywhere from send me the product and I'll make a video, so it's a gifted product, to $50,000, $100,000 for a high production long form video. It is very variable, very, very variable.
I think if you want to look outside of the kids' world, look at Mr. Beast and Charlie D'Amelio, who command, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars for their endorsement of anything. And so it's a really maturing. You can follow things like Tube Filter, Jelly Smack. They are publications coming out to trace the creator industry as well.
Can I just add to that thought really fast? Sorry, just one thing also on that note. You could pay a lot of money for a Charlie D'Amelio, but I'm not kidding, like Melissa or someone me, for example, I have 185,000 followers. When a toy goes viral that I post, I will sell significantly more of that toy than if I would pay Charlie D'Amelio to post about the toy. So it's all about finding really the smartest bang for your buck. I think my social media team and my marketing team, like Jess, honorable mention to really being the most efficient in finding who's going to sell them and move the most amount of toys at the best price, because they do charge exorbitant prices because of impressions that you're getting, versus finding true good impressions of people who actually care is really where I would spend your time in your marketing, making your marketing team figure it out.
I want to add to that, we see the kids that have a true passion and have other kids that share that passion, they're the ones that matter, not the ones that just have general.
Yeah, don't think that bigger is what you need. You can move more product, because that is the goal, or increase product awareness by finding creators who really, really enjoy your product. I mean, we had a situation where my son and I did a promotion, and also a very large, huge child YouTuber did a promotion, and it was like a thing where you could, I think you sent in you mailed in a thing and you got a free toy or whatever. We sold or got more free toys sent out, and we were just this big compared to this gigantic whale, because we had more connection with our audience. We were super passionate about this particular toy related thing. And so don't always think you need a big giant star who's going to use all of your marketing budget. You may not need to pay anybody anything at all. There's a lot of marketplaces.
Question for the tape.
Okay.
What was the question?
The question was, I'm sorry, how do you get in touch with those influencers? There are marketplaces where you can reach out to them, but do your searches on social media and see who's doing stuff that you like and that you're like, that would work for us, and then just DM them. Most people find me by DMing me or emailing me.
Hire Gen Z interns.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Actually, keep your social media staff as young as possible. I swear that will make you so much money. It's wild. They're so on the pulse, or find people who are really on the pulse and are really in the trend world, because they'll find you the one thing that goes viral, and it could be free. The account started for WowWee because I was literally showing our marketing team how to show. I wanted the fairy jar to be shown. That got 3 million views. We sold 2,500 on a pre-order on Amazon of a $40 fairy jar that wasn't even close to being available, just from one video going viral. So yeah, it's just find the hook and run with it.
Also, the Zigazoo partnerships team can curate relationships with our kids, that we can find you a kid that is interested.
And
They're
it is
sitting right
video.
behind you.
It is video first and video forward, right? I mean, it is what is something like 83% of the content now consumed on the internet is video. Not that you need fancy cameras, you need a good phone. And so the whole world is rapidly evolving, and I think the toy industry is just on so many levels, storytelling, community, loyalty, is just the perfect match for this creator effort. So with that,
One question. With
you
the
do have one. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have one question. It's a bit vague. Question about metaverse, Roblox, Fortnite. What are your thoughts about that?
Honestly, I have no comment at the given moment.
I think that, there's a lot of considerations when you're going to be talking about inserting products into video games in the quote unquote metaverse. This is a personal thing, and since I own the company, it's my company too. We're just really very cautious about blending that world of online video gameplay and community with kids and products. It can be very blurry to them about, am I being advertised to? Do I want this thing because I saw it in the game? Do I really care? I just think it can be a huge tool, but just, really question yourself, am I okay with this?
So I think right now the quick answer is very experimental. The Walmarts, the Forever 21s are out there. The kids don't go there. They go play lemonade stand with their friends. They sort of have a sniffer for inauthentic experiences, and I think they'll get it right. You can go into Forever 21. You can be the shopkeeper in Roblox and stock the shelves, and I thought it was kind of entertaining. But every 11-year-old I played with did not care. So I think it's a great time for experimentation. VR glasses are still not at a price point or at a parent's trust point where they're super adapted, but they'll get there. And so I would be thinking, so my advice would be spend 20 minutes a day experimenting with AI, with scrolling through TikToks, and maybe even putting on some glasses or playing in Roblox or Fortnite. Thank you so much, and we'll be over on the side, and we're going to clear the stage now. Thank you, Toy Fair.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.